Section 1. You will hear a woman phoning a restaurant to book a room for a party.
Good morning, Shaw's Restaurant.
Hi, I'd like to book one of your function rooms for a party, please.
Okay, fine. How many people are you expecting for the party?
Well, I'm not quite sure yet, but about 60.
Fine. So you will need a big room. And what day were you thinking of?
The party's for my daughter's birthday. It's her 21st. Her birthday's actually on the 17th of November, but that's a Friday, so we thought we'd have her party on the 18th as that's a Saturday. There'll be lots of her friends there as well as all the family.
And what time would you like the room for?
Oh, I'm not sure. 7:45? Not too late.
Okay.
And people will probably be leaving about 11.
Fine. We're open until 11:30.
Excellent. And what about the menu?
So, do you want a sit-down meal with waiter service?
Yes, not a buffet.
Right. Well, there are several options including different menus at various prices. So there's the standard menu. That's £25 per person.
Okay.
Or the celebration menu, which is 3 courses. It's very popular. That's £35.
Okay, I think I'd rather go with that.
And there's also our gold menu. That's a 5-course menu at £50.
No, that's definitely too expensive.
Okay.
Now, not all the guests eat meat. Will there be something for them?
Of course. We'll make sure there's a vegetarian option for each course.
Great.
And do you know if any of the guests have food allergies? Anything like shellfish, for example?
I'll need to check, but I do know that one of my daughter's friends is very allergic to strawberries. Even just being near them can be a problem.
Okay. I'll make a note to our chef to avoid those completely. Do you have any other requests for desserts?
Well, I'd like a choice if possible. And could we have cheese as well?
Of course, no problem. We can provide that. Now, do you have any other requests I could help with? What about after-dinner entertainment? You can book a band if you'd like live music.
Actually, I think a disco would be best if you can arrange that.
No problem.
And I heard you might be able to put on a fireworks display. Is that possible?
We aren't offering that service anymore, I'm afraid. It was just too expensive.
Oh, I see.
Now, the menu package you've chosen includes a few other nice things.
Oh, like what?
We'll decorate the room for you, which creates a nice party atmosphere. We can use different colors for the balloons. Silver, gold.
She loves pink, but actually, I think she'd prefer flowers to balloons. So let's go for them instead, in the same color.
No problem. Now, you mentioned that the party's for your daughter. We make birthday cakes if you'd like one.
Okay, yes. We'll definitely want a cake.
And we can put a special message on top. What would you like?
Congratulations, and then her name. That's Susie.
Fine.
Now, 1 or 2 of the guests are coming by train, but they stop running quite early, so they'll need a taxi to take them to the Forest Hotel after the party. Is that something you can sort out?
Absolutely. Anything else?
I think that's all for now.
Okay. Well, just get in touch if you think of anything else. Now, if I can just take some contact details, I just need your name and phone number.
I'm Maria Nelson, and my number's 07749 132 760.
Excellent. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Section 2. You will hear a company manager talking to staff about procedures to follow if a fire breaks out at work.
Hello, and thanks to everyone for being on time. The meeting will be fairly short and will only be looking at fire procedures. I had a similar meeting with the senior fire officers earlier today, but you're all here because you've volunteered to act as fire wardens for your own particular department. And for some of you, this will be your first time in the role, although you'll probably have taken part in several fire drills since you've been here. But now the construction work is finished and we have a couple of new corridors and stairways, we need the meeting to update everyone. And before I forget, you might have noticed a bit of upgrading last week. The handheld fire extinguishers, the standard ones on the wall, the report says they're all working well, as is the overhead sprinkler system. But the old alarm system has been replaced and should be a lot more reliable. Anyway, as fire wardens, you have a number of responsibilities. OK, those wardens responsible for the factory buildings, you'll remember we had a minor fire back in January. Luckily, the fire doors around the room stopped most of the smoke from getting out, but the alarm should have been pressed a lot earlier. From what I understand, staff felt somewhat reluctant to activate it themselves and were looking for someone senior. So please ensure that everyone knows it's their responsibility to take action immediately. Can you also make sure that if anyone new has been hired since then, that they've read the fire notices? And wardens for office departments, you'll also have to have a word with your staff. When the fire alarm went off in January in that minor fire, people got out of the office building pretty quickly. That was fine. But once they were out, they stood right in front of the doors. So if the fire crews had needed to access the offices, they would have been prevented. Good to see that everyone had left their bags and stuff behind, though. OK, next on the agenda. There's a few aspects of fire safety that we need to go through with all you wardens. Firstly, we want to make sure that when we have the next fire drill, there's nothing blocking the way in the escape routes. No obstacles, I mean. So please have a look at that as soon as possible. We want to be able to get outside very quickly. One thing that should definitely be on your to-do list is making sure no one's locked the fire doors and that it's easy enough to get through them. Now, you might remember that last year we had a fire officer come and visit and show us what to do if we see a colleague starting to suffer from the effects of smoke inhalation. Well, the same officer's coming back to lead another session. Another issue is how to handle the fire extinguishers. Someone from the local fire department is booked in to teach people how to do that. I think it would be a good idea if fire wardens and department staff attended those sessions. Let's see, what else is on the list? Oh yes, the evacuation points. The green area behind the main car park, the pavement on Hunter Street, and the unused area behind the factory car park. Fire wardens need to make sure all staff are familiar with these locations for evacuation, so please send out emails directly after the meeting. And the last point is to do with flammable liquids. I believe there have been a few concerns about where they were being stored in the warehouse, but that's been resolved now. However, if anyone has anything else to report, do let me know.
Section 3. You will hear 3 geology students, Andy, Bob and Helen, talking about forming a study syndicate for their forthcoming examinations.
Right then, are we ready, Bob? Helen?
Yeah?
And is someone taking notes for John? He's at a tutorial, isn't he?
Yeah, I'll let him know what we agree.
Good. OK, well, first thing is, has anyone apart from me actually been in a study syndicate before?
No.
What does it actually involve, Andy?
Well, the idea is that it's a way for students to study together without a teacher.
Oh, yeah, right.
When I did it last time, I found it helpful because, well, as I said, there's no teacher, so it means we're teaching one another. And I found I really learnt a lot through having to teach it myself. It seemed a very good way to learn.
And presumably it gives us the chance to share ideas as well.
And you get fuller notes if you're all doing the reading.
That's right. And as well as that, because of that really, you can do, much deeper research. So I thought we could try it to revise what we've done on the geology course. Because I know this is the one that most of us are worried about, the geology exam.
Oh,
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So the idea is we all look at a different topic from the geology course, and then give a presentation and talk about it?
That's right. I've drawn up the framework of a table which might be useful. Here, I've made a copy.
Oh,
Oh,
thanks.
thanks.
For the first topic, I thought we could maybe do mountain building. Is that all right?
Yeah, sure. Actually, would you mind if I did that? I'm quite interested in it.
Right.
Right.
So is May 9th okay for that?
Yeah.
I'll just write that down, and it's Bob for mountain building. And the following week, it can't be May 16th because of our tutorial. But what about the 17th?
Okay.
And what about the next topic? What would be the next priority?
Well, there's glaciated areas, but I don't want to do that.
Fair enough.
Actually, I don't mind having a bash. I did an assignment on them. Glaciated areas, Andy. Then we need someone to do rock formation. Helen?
Yeah, okay. And John said he'd like to too, so you can put us both down for that.
When?
May 23rd would be best.
Rock formation, Helen and John. Right. That really only leaves 1 week before the exams. Shall we make it on the 30th?
I can't make it, I'm afraid.
29th of May? The exam's on June 3rd.
Have to be. Okay.
Any ideas for a topic?
John said he wouldn't mind doing something on volcanoes.
Great. That's everyone then.
And how long should these presentations be?
Well, it's obviously up to us. In my experience, 30 minutes is about enough.
Maybe a bit short. I'd have thought 40 minutes would be more like it.
Well, shall we say 30 to 40 minutes?
Okay. And presumably time for questions.
And discussion.
Yes, together they usually take about 20 minutes.
Where shall we get the information from? Is it mainly lecture notes?
Well, actually, I suggest we avoid those because we already have all that information. I think it's better to go more deeply.
We could use the bibliography.
And anything else we find in the library, any other books.
And articles, from the journals.
And then, of course, there's lots of stuff on the internet.
Yes, that's the sort of thing.
And what about the presentations? Will we just be talking? Presumably we can't use slides.
It'd be a bit difficult, but we can use the OHP.
And the whiteboard, of course.
And we can make photocopies of our notes so everyone can have a copy.
Yes, great. So is there anything else?
You will hear part of a lecture on organic farming.
Hi everyone. What I'm going to talk about today is organic farming. Let's first look at what organic farming is. It can be defined as one or more systems of production which don't use synthetic fertilizers, man-made pesticides, herbicides, antibiotics or livestock feed additives to grow crops and raise animals. Virtually all organic farmers prefer to use renewable resources and recycling to give what conventional farmers might consider waste back to the soil of Mother Nature. From this, we can see organic farming is a sustainable production system, which is one of its advantages. Organic farmers use numerous techniques to promote the quality of life of plants and animals within existing ecosystems and minimize pollution that occurs with all conventional farming practices. Another benefit is that, with the increasing consumer demand for a healthier, more nutritionally balanced product, the sales of organically produced food are promoted. According to the research, it has become the fastest growing sector of agriculture and has shown an annual increase of at least 20% during the last 6 years. What's more, both chemical fertilizers and synthetic pesticides consume non-renewable resources such as oil and coal. but the development of organic farming can lower the demand for these fertilizers and pesticides, so it is conducive to the conservation of essential energy. At the same time, it also can reduce industrial pollution caused by the production of these chemical substances. Organic farming differs greatly from the traditional one in a number of ways. Let's discuss it from the perspective of agricultural biodiversity, firstly. For instance, earthworms are an important indicator of soil fertility. Studies have shown that the density and species number of earthworms in organically managed soils are 3 times as high as those in conventional fields. Moreover, the biodiversity in organic farming can also be reflected in the number of insects, which is twice as many as those in traditional farms. This might be highly related to the fact that organic vegetables are grown without any human-made pesticides, making these vegetables more likely to be damaged. The other main difference between organic and traditional farming lies in crop yields, one of the biggest concerns of organic farmers. Organic farms, though possibly well adapted for certain local environments, produce less food per unit of land. For example, organic vegetables like tomatoes and potatoes yielded are 40% less than conventional ones. In addition, research has also found the number of weeds produced in winter is about 90% at present, which has decreased by 10% than before. However, lower crop yields in organic farming are still inevitable at the moment. Anyway, organic farming is a new direction for agricultural development. These days, a variety of organic products are cultivated not only for humans but also for animals. For example, organic grass. It is commonly used in organic farms to feed cows. Because of the non-use of synthetic fertilizers or pesticides, it can protect cows from diseases brought by large-scale breeding, thus ensuring the quality of raw milk. But an interesting phenomenon is that its production has remained constant these years, which is quite unique compared with other types of crops. Research on organic farming has covered various aspects and involved many countries. According to one study, organic farming was proposed in India in the early 1960s, when it was faced with acute shortages of food grains due to the ever-increasing population and natural disasters. Although it could not be applied successfully at first, as farmers had been familiar with conventional instructions, proponents of organic farming claimed that organic agriculture emphasized biodiversity and effective soil management could enhance the capacity to mitigate and even reverse the effects of climate change. So, India needed organic farming along with modern scientific agriculture. The study shows that in 2016, India became the country with the largest number of organic products, and the production of crops kept growing year on year. Another international review about organic farming presents in the first part that people today have become increasingly interested in organic food, and this opinion is quite the same as that of other articles. But what impressed me most was the volume of the investigation the author did in different countries. He conducted a survey in 99 countries, of which 66 are convinced that organic farming is beneficial to animals, while 8 hold the opposite opinion, and the remaining 25 say it is inconclusive. Therefore, the last part of the review is mainly talking about whether organic farming brings positive effects to animals. We can see there are different views about the advantages of organic farming. Some may think it can provide more nutritious and healthier food. Others may say it can protect the natural environment and benefit wildlife. However, as far as I'm concerned, it's you, the ones who buy organic products, that will decide what they can bring to you, because market demand determines everything. Okay, that's all I want to say. Now, let's open it up for discussion.